Russell Engel and Larry Perkins, all Castrol front row with Glenn Seaton and John Bow behind in the Fords.
Row 3, we see AJ, Alan Jones alongside Dick Johnson. Row 4 is John Faulkner, the best of the privateers today, alongside Peter Brock.
Out of 9, Stephen Richards with Wayne Gardner in the Coke Commodore. He's having a tough time today. Row 6, Mark Poole in the Scots Transport Commodore and Tony Longhurst in the Castrol Forward.
The 7th row, we see Paul Romano and Terry Finnegan. Row 8 is the Konica Falcon of Steve Ellery and Ray Hislop.
Plenty of V8s here today. Trevor Ashby in the Lansvale car. Ian Palmer from Queensland alongside him. Row 10, Michael Hart and Darren Hossack in the Winds Commodore.
Well, it certainly has been an eventful day. This is the 3rd and final race, round 2, the 97 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. We go on board the Ford Credit Falcon. Glenn Seaton just 2 points behind the man to the left of your screen, who's pulling over in front of Glenn now, Russell Engel. It all comes down to this last race.
You're sitting in Russell Engel's position right now, Charlie O'Brien. What would you be thinking as you blast off the line? You've got to cover your territory.
Well, I'd be hoping that I could make a good start and Larry to make a good one ahead of Glenn and maybe do that little defensive driving trick again and extend the lead out there.
Certainly worked pretty well in the second heat.
Well, we just caught a quick glimpse there of Dick Johnson grabbing a final drink before he gets ready to roll. Race 3 for today. What does this one hold in store? We'll have to wait and see. We aren't too far away from a start. The 2 Castrol Commodores alongside each other, Larry Perkins and Russell Engel. Can Russell take out the points for today? He's been having some great runs of late. Here we go, we've got to start. Green lights, oh, Seaton. Glenn Seaton hasn't got off the line. He's pulled off to the side. Some major problems with the Ford Credit Falcon, so he does not go anywhere.
Well, it looks like Peter Brock has this big sweep around the outside by Larry Perkins. They were side by side as Engel and Perkins came down the straight, but Larry, a faster run, sweeps across in front of his teammate and leads this big field through the Southern Loop for the first time. Alan Jones, great start too. He's up in 3rd. And there is Glenn Seaton. Boy, he'd be disappointed about this. He wanted to come to Phillip Island and walk away with the maximum points haul. He certainly had the speed, but mechanical dramas have shut him down.
That is such a shame for Glenn Seaton. He is out of this one and out of the points for the day, but Alan Jones is up there in 3rd. He is going really well, right up behind Russell Engel as they come out of Honda Corner. John Bow, Peter Brock, then we go back to Dick Johnson and John Faulkner sitting in there in the Fisher-Paykel machine.
Big field funneling through Siberia, shifting up through the gears, building up to 240 kilometres an hour as they hammer through this switchback on the way up toward Lukey Heights. Spectacular bit of racetrack this as the V8 sort themselves out on this first desperate lap of 12.
Well, we certainly, we've got this on again between Larry Perkins and Alan Jones that we had last week up at Surfers Paradise. This is going to be a ding-dong battle for Alan to get past Larry again.
We just saw a quick shot there of Wayne Gardner having a little bit of a battle with the Scots Transport entry of Mark Poole, while Wayne Gardner fights it out here. His old teammate in Neil Crompton is doing quite well in America, has qualified 2nd for his first race of the North American Touring Car Championship, so we wish Neil well as we go on board now with Dick Johnson in the Shell Helix Falcon. Mark, Dick's had a steady day.
Certainly has. Just keeping the car on the tarmac is pretty good effort today with the damage that's been done to some of his competitors. Good, consistent run from Johnson as this big field filed through. Look at the speed here. Perkins leads them through. Engel, Jones, Bow, Brock, Johnson, Faulkner back in 8th position. Longhurst and Richards.
John Bow to be enjoying being up in the top 5, sitting in 4th spot at the moment. Perkins a little loose out of the Southern Loop. Engel is right on his hammer and Jones. This is AJ's best run of the day in the Komatsu Falcon. Sitting up there in 3rd spot. He is the top Ford at the moment.
Well, Larry's going to be trying to get past Russell on this one. I think before he was quite happy to do the blocking manoeuvre and keep everyone behind. But now there's nobody else out in front. I think Larry's going to have a go at Russell.
Perkins leads them through. Engel in 2nd position. Alan Jones in 3rd. First of the Shell Fords, that's John Bow. Peter Brock, the lone Holden Racing Team Commodore in 5th. The field really bunches up here. Spectacular racing from the V8s. Look at Jones as he drifts the car through that corner on full power, 200 kilometres an hour on the approach to Lukey Heights, working the Ford hard.
John Bow back there in 4th position, has been fighting a lack of front-end grip right throughout the entire weekend, but he's slotted in there nicely behind Alan Jones. It's a bit of a sandwich there. It's a bit of a freight train. They're all bunched up at the top end of the field. Here's our high camera shot. It's a beautiful shot. Shows the distance between the cars as they come onto Gardner Straight and the big main straight drag.
Mark, you don't see very often having 4 Dunlop shod cars in the first 5 places, do you?
Well, certainly not at Phillip Island, Charlie O'Brien. This track is just a happy playground, a happy hunting ground, I should say, for Bridgestone over the last 5 years of V8 competition here. But the Dunlop boys have really turned it around today. They had a good product at the Australian Grand Prix. They brought it back for the island, and it is working a treat. Perkins in control. His first flying lap of 1:36.58. There is Glenn Seaton, and wouldn't he be a disappointed lad after that tremendous speed throughout qualifying?
Did very well in qualifying, just ran away with the opening race. Picked up 3rd in the second race and will not get any points from this one. There's your Shell Helix race score. Perkins is out in front. Russell Engel is sitting in second. So the 2 Castrol Commodores doing it very well.
Down through Siberia once again. Russell Engel filling the mirrors of his team boss, Larry Perkins. Alan Jones still in 3rd position. Bow now trying to get past the Komatsu Falcon. We go on board with Peter Brock, your chauffeur around Phillip Island. 240 k's as he tries to close the gap to John Bow. Brakes on as they come over the top of Lukey Heights. Very difficult part of racetrack here, and braking hard at the bottom of the hill.
Hard into MG corner they go. Down to 2nd gear. It's only about 55, 60 kilometres an hour. Then they get hard on the gas and bring it round. Very fast top sweeping left-hander as they get ready to come on to the Gardner Straight again. There's Peter Brock, the 05 Mobile Commodore. His teammate Greg Murphy, we saw have that terrible, terrible crash earlier on. The word we get back is that Greg's okay.
Looks like Brocky's enjoying himself here, locked in this battle. He's got John Bow ahead of him, Johnson behind him. He's in a shell sandwich as he ducks out of the draft there. Look down the inside, John Bow, tell him he's there. Brock very quick, a 36.64. Fastest man on the track at the moment is Engel. He's just done a 36, a low 36 as well.
Russell Engel going very well. He was called the Street Fighter after last weekend at Indy Carnival. He dominated the Australian Grand Prix earlier this year and did very well on the Gold Coast last weekend, but I don't know about a Street Fighter. He's pretty competent on the circuits as well.
Well, if Perkins wins here today, Engel has to finish either 2nd or 3rd to take overall win of the day, so he's going to have to fight like fury to keep Alan Jones out in the Komatsu Ford. But Jones, as we saw on the streets of Surfers Paradise and indeed at Calder, he is fighting every inch of the way in 1997.
Close battle this race 3, Charlie. We haven't seen too many passing manoeuvres though yet.
Well, Russell certainly has cut it pretty tough in Europe driving Formula Ford, and he's not going to give in for this one. He's going to be pressing on because he's had that experience over there.
Jones rides high on the ripple strip. He knows that John Bow isn't too far behind, but he wants to get up and mix it with the Castrol Commodores. Brock now right up on the back of John Bow.
Well, Larry may not have the fastest car on the racetrack, but he's certainly doing a very effective job of boxing them all in. There's a big freight train of cars building up behind the Castrol duo at the front here. Engel pushing the boss very, very hard. He wants to get past, but Larry, as he's proved, a master of this tactical racing.
As we watch the Castrol Commodores come down the main straight, down Gardner Straight, let's give a rap to John Faulkner. He's the top of the privateers, and he's behind Dick Johnson in 7th position. You just got a quick glimpse of Faulkner there. 270 kilometres per hour, the terminal speed down the main straight.
Perkins just brought it down another one, a 36.26, Engel 36.33. And Jones boxed in behind him as we go back with Peter Brock in the Mobile 05 Commodore, getting up behind John Bow, looking for a way past. This is a high-speed freight train. They're all locked up, sitting in this big draft, looking for someone to make a mistake so they can pounce. Brock goes down the outside of Bow on the approach to Honda Corner, only down to about 70 kilometres an hour, gets right up behind the Shell Ford, but no room there to pass.
Well, Mark, Russell has to finish 2nd or 3rd in this event to take out the win for the day, and he's looking very comfortable in that position at the moment.
Defending his territory, but he's got a very hot competitor behind him, and Alan Jones in the Komatsu Ford. There's your top 5, Perkins with Engel right behind him. Just visual gaps, Jones, Johnson, Faulkner, Longhurst, Richards and Gardner. That's the top 10 on the Shell Helix race score. So all of these guys looking for someone to make an error, make an opportunity to get through.
Working their way around. Positions remain the same as they head around. We go on board the Shell Helix Falcon with Dick Johnson. Up ahead you can see Peter Brock fighting with Johnson's teammate John Bow. There's a bit of a gap between Dick and Brocky as they come down the main straight again. This is where they hit their top speed. The only position on the track where they pull 6th gear, top gear, over the start-finish line. and just ocean ahead.
Lap 6 of 12, half distance on the Shell Helix lap score. We're taking a look at Dick Johnson, 51 years of age, hard at work in the Shell Ford, currently running in 6th position, a good competitive run considering what the Dunlop teams thought would happen to them here. It was going to be a Bridgestone massacre, but they really have fought back.
Shell team has been running very consistently today. They haven't done anything outstanding, but they haven't done anything silly either. It's just been good, consistent racing. John Bowe remains in 4th position, going very well behind Alan Jones, Brock. And have a look at John Faulkner. Here comes the privateer in the Better Electrical. Fisher Paykel entry is all over the back of Dick Johnson.
This is great, great for privateers to be able to go out and buy a second-hand car, get out there and mix it with the level 1 teams. This is good stuff.
John Faulkner will be very grateful to Wayne Gardner Racing too. Dropped a valve in his own engine in practice. The Wayne Gardner Racing team offered him one of their engines. They went back to Rob Benson's workshop in Melbourne, had to bring the car back on a trailer, so Faulkner missed qualifying, had to start from the rear of the grid. Now this is a big fight back.
Let's not forget his efforts in race 1, where he started from rear of grid and finished 9th. So he has been having a really good day's racing. There he is, John Faulkner, ex-Oz car racer. He also races NASCARs and just loves the V8 supercars.
Well, he's no stranger to road racing. Spent some time with Toyota in the under 2-litre division. This is a 600 horsepower Chevy under his right foot, and he has taken to it like a duck to water. Faulkner absolutely loving his V8 supercar racing.
Well, as it has been for the last couple of races at the Melbourne Grand Prix and up at Surfers Paradise, it's been Castrol 1-2. What value they're getting this year.
Hard under brakes as they come over Lukey Heights. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Russell Engel does with it. He just sits in behind the boss, very much aware of his point situation today, and pick up that 2nd or 3rd he needs, if Perkins wins, of course. So there's a lot of different scenarios here can unfold over these next few laps.
Well, you couldn't ask for the top 8 or 9 to be any closer. Wayne Gardner in the Coke Commodore has got himself up into the top 10 behind Tony Longhurst and Stevie Richards, so they're doing quite well. But we're watching the front end of the field. It is still Perkins and Engel. Watch the speed go up. Now, laser speed, 240, 259. It's climbing, getting up, 270 now. 270 kilometres per hour as they head down the main straight.
Super concentration needed for that fast right-hand corner at that sort of speed. As I say, the corner tightens up and you need to be exactly on the right part of the track or you will have an accident.
Larry Perkins maintaining that 1 minute 36 second bracket, 36.56 last time around. Earlier that was just a few tenths faster. So he's just holding this line. He's got this big traffic queue behind him, but masterfully holding him out.
Have a look at this 2nd and 3rd. Alan Jones is really starting to give Engel a hard time. Back to John Bowe, and Peter Brock is still well in touch. This is a great race. You couldn't ask for him to be any closer.
Another privateer coming up behind John Faulkner, Stephen Richards in the Valvoline car.
Just got a quick shot of him then, Charlie. So Stephen has had some mixed fortune this weekend. This is his best run.
That is a fantastic shot. As the cars sweep through that corner on the way up toward Lukey Heights, you could see how hard Jones was working that Komatsu forward. Wheels up over the ripple strips, giving it everything as he tries to find a way past Engel. Look how deep he goes under brakes there. The rear of the car squirming as he just applies maximum brake, just going over the limit of adhesion, but holding it in line and not giving John Bowe an opportunity.
The relationship between Engel and Perkins, it's a great relationship. They love stirring each other. I was around there this morning, Mark, when Russell Engel was applying that yellow tape across the front of his screen so we can identify him, and Larry said, why don't you put it down the middle of the car and down the back? And Russell replied, just look at my car, Larry, it's the one out in the front. So they love ribbing each other.
Yeah, Larry's really enjoying 1997. They did have a problem after that earthquake in Kobe, which brought the Dunlop factory in Japan to its knees. It really has taken Dunlop 2 full years to regroup. They've had some global cooperation with the operation in Britain. They managed to fight their way through last year with some inconsistent tyres, but now the operation's back in full swing. We've got the British factory working in harmony with the Japanese factory, and they're producing some good product.
There's your Shell Helix race score. It hasn't changed. It's still Perkins, Engel, Jones, Bowe and Brock, your top 5. 6 through 10, it is Johnson, Faulkner, Richards, Longhurst and Poole. Mark Poole has now got himself up into the top 10 ahead of Wayne Gardner.
Well, Tony Longhurst and Wayne Gardner certainly having a weekend they'd like to forget. I think Yokohama just ran a little too hard a tyre for this track, and they'd be wishing they were a little bit softer to be up there amongst this group.
It's been tough work for the Yokohama Shod cars. We go inside, Peter Brock on board. Down hard into MG corner, he's all over the back of John Bowe. You can just see how close the top 5 are, but none have been able to penetrate. They haven't been able to change position. We're in the closing laps of this, the third and final race. Watch Peter Brock hard at work. Had a quick look in the mirror, just seeing how far behind Dick Johnson is as he sits in 5th position.
How relaxed he is there, sitting at that tiller. 200 kilometres an hour he is in that car. 3 laps to go as he brings it on to the start-finish line. Well aware of his teammates' tyre failure early in the day that put him into the wall. Brocky still attacking. Look at Brock's terminal speed there on the laser speed. 266, a couple of kilometres down on the fastest time we saw a couple of laps ago, but he is caught up in this traffic jam.
Well, so long as everything remains as is, I'm sure the mechanics and engineers would be pretty happy to get away with a race that there's been no carnage.
Plenty of damage to Mark Larkham's car, a write-off as he said. Holden Racing Team car, equally badly damaged, so want to get out of here without any damage. Look how close they get under brakes for Honda corner. They know that the time's running out, options running out. They're all caught up in this long crocodile chain. They're looking for one to make a mistake, and Perkins will be absolutely loving this.
Stephen Richards up there with John Faulkner now. They're nice and close. In fact, our top 10 are just about in this constant chain. Lap 10 of 12. There's not too much longer to go. Perkins has led right from the start. He looks pretty comfortable, like he should be able to hold it to the end. Up over Lukey Heights, down into a very hard corner in terms of brakes. They go right back to second gear. Alan Jones always looking for that inside line, hasn't been able to get it. There's Faulkner and Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore.
It's a great effort from Mike Excel and the boys at Gary Rogers Motorsport to get that Valvoline Cummins Commodore back into the race. You saw the accident happen. It piled into the back of Glenn Seaton's car at Surfers Paradise. They rushed it back to Melbourne, did a complete rebuild of the car and got it back out on the track. A great effort for those teams.
Down Gardner Straight. The distance between Perkins and Engel is starting to increase. So too is the interval back second to third. 274 kilometres an hour now from Perkins. So he's starting to up the ante a little bit.
136.40 last time around. He's still hovering around in that time bracket, just producing enough speed necessary to win, and no one behind him can do anything about it.
Well, 274 kilometres an hour compared to Brock's 266 the lap before. It is handy to build your own engines, Mark.
Down into Honda corner. Russell Engel now has bridged that gap between himself and his boss. Sitting in second position. He leads the points coming into this third race. It's been a great day for Russell Engel, so too Larry Perkins.
Nigel Greenway, our race statistician, tells me if they finish this way, this will be the first Castrol 1-2 in Shell Australian Touring Car Championship history. So this will be a big day for the Castrol boys if they can bring it home.
Shell Helix race score hasn't changed. Perkins, Engel, Jones, Bowe and Brock, your top 5. Johnson, Faulkner. Richards is now up into 8th position. Longhurst and Poole.
Privateers fighting their way into the back of the tail of this top 10. So they're having a good day at Phillip Island today, unlike some of our level 1 competitors.
Well, coming onto the main straight here, we see where Greg Murphy went off in that second race, and what a scary part of the track to go off with a flat tyre.
Last lap this time around, so Perkins in control. Engel in second position, Jones in third, Bowe in fourth. Then it's Brock, the 05 Commodore in fifth, Johnson, Faulkner, Richards, Longhurst and Poole. And no one behind Larry Perkins has been able to make a move on the Castrol cars.
We're on our way home. They head on down into the Southern Loop for the final time. It's been a very, very eventful day here at Phillip Island, but this third race hasn't been that way. It's been as is. The positions have not changed. They're bringing it home whether someone can pull off a passing manoeuvre. Perhaps AJ. Well, someone's gone off. There's a big cloud of dust down near Honda corner. They come down into Honda corner. Bowe's gone very wide. Don't forget, stay with us here on 10. That's Terry Finnegan. Terry Finnegan in the Sony Commodore. Just about to say the excitement continues here on Network 10, 5:30 this evening. The 500cc's, the opening round of the World Championship, coming to you from Shah Alam in Malaysia. Joined Bill Woods and Barry Sheen for that.
Perkins heads up toward Lukey Heights for the final time. Got his teammate Russell Engel in behind him. He knows that if he wins this race, Engel only has to finish second or third to take overall points on the day, and that'll be a great position championship-wise for the Castrol team, considering Wayne Gardner's strength coming out of Calder. Thought he may have been able to build on that championship points advantage, but no luck here today, and a big boost up for the Castrol team.
Well, what an impressive run from Alan Jones. He's had a consistent day and just flows on from last weekend at Surfers Paradise, where he had a great run up there.
They're bringing it home right now. Checkered flag is in readiness. It is going to be a Castrol 1-2. Larry Perkins brings it home. Well done. He takes out race 3. Russell Engel, lights on, hand out the window. He comes in for second position. Alan Jones in for fourth. And that means that Russell Engel will be at the top of the points for the second round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Looked like John Bowe remained in fourth position ahead of Peter Brock, but you've got to give it to the Castrol Commodore team of Larry Perkins, Russell Engel. There's Peter Brock. He remains steady in fifth position.
Yeah, Peter just talking to his pit. There's Dick. He's dropped down that cage on the side of the car, which keeps the driver's arms inside in the event of an accident. And he's looking a bit hot, working hard, waving to the fans.
He did work very hard. A good sixth position for Johnson, but there's the two Castrol boys. Boss and employee, Larry Perkins and Russell Engel.
Well, Russell was saying before that Perkins has finally given him free rein, said, yeah, you can go for it this year. And that's really fired the boss up.
Well, Mark, it's the first time in the last 3 races that it's been the right way around for as far as Larry's concerned.
Well, let's check the final placings, of course. LP, Larry Perkins in for the win ahead of his teammate Russell Engel. Alan Jones in the Komatsu Falcon in for third. Bowe fourth, and Peter Brock in for fifth.
Rounding out the 10, Dick Johnson in 6th position. John Faulkner in the Fisher and Paykel Better Electrical Commodore. Stephen Richards, good run that, up to 8. Tony Longhurst in the Castrol Ford up to 9. And Mark Poole rounded out the 10.